Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Well, I don't give a shit. Because if people don't like me because of the way I talk or think, that's their business. See what I'm saying? That's their business. Like, it's your business. I ain't mad at you if you don't like me. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, it's your business. It's not my business. The question is why do people care? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they need your validation. They want you to like me because they don't like themselves. So they're looking for everybody else to validate their value. Am I cool? Am I good? You like me?
Did I make it?
Am I right? Huh? You know, I don't do that.
Three places that you can stay for absolutely free. 3 of them. You ain't got to pay a doggone thing. Hear me. Understand that you can stay out my face for free. You can stay out my business for free. And you can stay out my way for free. Those things won't cost you a doggone thing. 3 places you can stay for absolutely free. Thank you.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
hello, guys. Some of you guys, I've seen you from this morning. Some of you guys are on your lunch break. Some of you guys are just plain lazy and have nothing better to do. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Hey, guys, I hope everybody is really doing well. I'm trying to cover, as many of you guys know, we've got a lot of main cases that we've been covering for a while that are starting to have a lot of activity go on them and things of that nature. So I'm trying to do the balancing project of covering all the cases that you guys want. Right now, we are sitting here waiting with bated breath to find out if Michael Vaughn was found at the search of the Wanderer's house. But in the interim, we do have we have several people out there trying to dive in and trying to get information on what's going on in this case and talk to whomever is willing to talk to them and tell them things. JLR has been working very hard behind the scenes, getting this very information that we all want to know and want to hear. He actually had an opportunity to speak with someone that was with Sarah Wandra the day that Michael Vaughn went missing. And many of you guys have watched that. If you guys were part of the morning show this morning, I told you guys to go over to JLR's page and watch the video so we can have a good discussion about the interview, about what we believe, about whether we believe Brandon or Shirtlift, his name is, or not. Apparently, what I did is I reached out to JLR and asked him if he minded. I was just going to have a conversation about it. So I asked him if he minded if we actually play his video on air. We're still going to be hit with some of the commercials in his video, but he did give me permission to go ahead and play it. So I figured for those that are coming here and tuning in right now that haven't had an opportunity to see this video, don't worry. You're going to be watching it right here as we discuss this particular video and what its implications mean. And do we believe him? Thank you, Jillian, for being the newest member of this crazy place we call the Coffee Club. But let's see, I issued all morning post. I was out on errands. Oh, okay. Well, no worry, Pam. We're going to get to it. Do I see Ricky Beavers in the house? It's nice to see you, Ricky. I hope you are doing well. But, JLR's I don't know how he has the magic he has and how he's able to find these things, but whatever he's got it, if you know what I mean. He's got it. He's got the I, he's got the T, right? He dots the I's, he crosses the T's. He has got it. And this is no different. He's got a hold of this gentleman. I don't know how he found him, but it's legit. Brandon Shirtlift was with him. Brandon was in a photo with Sarah. And remember that Caesar that he brought up and did an article on? Really bad dude. Well, this was the other guy sitting next to that really bad dude. And his name is Brandon Shirtlift. So I got a little background on this particular interview. Apparently, it's my understanding that JLR actually did a video on him and never said he was a suspect, but that he was in and around the Wanderers at the time Michael Vaughn went missing. Well, it kind of upsetted Brandon a little bit, and Brandon reached out. I don't know how hot that conversation may have been at the beginning, but Brandon wanted to be heard. And I guess the agreement between JLR and Brandon was that JLR couldn't cut this interview. They couldn't cut it. He couldn't twist it. That Brandon wanted it to be his interview with his words, uncut and raw and set out there. And that's exactly what JLR did. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this, guys. I know you guys are communicating in the chat. I do appreciate it. But I'm going to be paying attention and commentating on a few things here. So just sit back. And I also want to, hi, ICU, Be Betty fan, all my mods. I see that Tattooed Rebel is coming in. Hey, Rebel, nice to see you. And all my other beautiful people that come here every single day. But we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to get this kind of started at the beginning. We'll just watch the whole darn thing. Well, let's let's hear from JLR. Okay, let's hear from JLR. Why not? Why not? Right? I was going to skip him, and I don't think that's fair. Let's hear what JLR has to say. Shall we? Shall we? All right, guys. Without any further ado, here we go.
Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am covering the Michael Vaughn case out of Fruitland, Idaho.
If anybody doesn't know who this is JLR. This is JLR, investigative journalist with your content. He runs his own YouTube show. It's called Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I have put this video and linked his channel in the description of this particular segment of the show. Okay, so if you guys want to know or sub up to him, you can watch the chat. I'm sure my lovely mods will be throwing his channel link in the chat for all of you guys. But this is Jonathan Lee Riches. Probably not the best place for me to pause him. Look at that face.
6-year-old Michael Vaughn. He's been missing since July 27th, 2021. Where is Michael Vaughn? Now, I have an exclusive interview I want to share with everyone on a conversation that I had with Brandon Shurtleff. Brandon Shurtleff, he was with Stacy and Sarah Wandra on the day Michael Vaughn went missing. And he shares a lot. He shares a lot. I'm going to share the entire video right now, unedited, uncut, full interview that I had with him. And then we will discuss afterward. You need to watch.
Don't forget, if you guys are just coming in, please go out and like this video. Before we go further, we have 340 likes and 928 people in the chat. Guys, if you could go out there and give this a like, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Watch this. He shares vital information about the Michael Vaughn case. Check it out. Okay, now, thank you for talking.
Yes, you are seeing it correctly. This gentleman that wanted to be heard, you'll find out that I'm just going to set the tone. He is drinking and in a hot tub. And if you see behind him, which it'll only show like 1 or 2 spots in this whole video, that white behind him is actually snow. So he's in the snow, drinking a beer and in a hot tub. Okay, now that's the tone set, let's go.
To me, thank you. I respect that, considering that I put a video out on you, sharing what's going on. But as you know, I never said you were suspect. I just said that you were there in the mix.
And the reason why he's going through that is because this gentleman did reach out to him and basically said, I didn't do anything wrong and I want to clear my name. So JLR is allowing him to do that.
So this is very important because a lot of people are following the Michael Vaughn case, and people just want answers. People want Michael found. They want insight on the Wanderers. They want to know everything. So, can you just explain what's going on here? What's that? Can you explain what's going on? Like what happened? What went down? What's up?
Yeah, the people that I used to stay with sometimes on the weekend and drive taxi for or whatever, they're involved in some big shit about. They're saying they know more about the Michael Vaughn case and everything like that. And I heard that they're saying that they actually killed him themselves.
Now, who said that?
I think the detective told me that that's what Stacy and Sarah said themselves.
That is a pretty bold statement right off the rip. Pretty stinking bold statement right off the rip. Detectives told him, and this could have been now guys, we have to remember, this could have been a strategy that law enforcement had used to, try to get information, because an FBI agent's allowed to lie to you. You're just not allowed to lie to them. Law enforcement are allowed to lie to you to extract information. So it is a tactic. It is a strategy. Could that have been what happened? Or did Sarah and Stacy cop to this gruesome crime?
Is that they did it, or they were involved in it, or they know who did?
Interesting. Do you know any names or other these people? Who are they?
One of the people that went to their house before was Tanner Butler. I just looked at my Facebook page now, and his name's Tanner Butler.
This is just something to throw out there. If anybody is rude in the chat to either a creator or other people, you will be timed out. You'll be timed out only once. Like my give a damn is busted at this point. So if you guys can't play nice and you don't know how to adult today, you will be removed and blocked. Okay. So please play nice. I've been working a lot. I don't have the patience to, and I don't think it's fair for my moderators to have to play babysitter with a bunch of adults in the room. Okay. So guys, handle yourself like adults.
He was staying there with me and Stacy and Sarah at the time. Like all four of us were roommates.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
And then I guess the whole thing on how this started was the fact that Sarah, like, kind of threatened him or, like, told him, get out of.
So this is all about another altercation that happened, and I don't quite know how they jumped right to this part of the conversation, because to be honest with you, this confused me. I don't know where this came up, but I do know she was arrested just recently. As the last time I saw was in April when her husband got arrested. So I don't know what he's talking about with this altercation with a person by the name of Tanner. I'm going to back up just a little bit, and we're going to listen to it just again and see what they have to say.
I think the detectives told me that that's what Stacy and Sarah said themselves, is that they did it or they were involved in it or they know who did.
Interesting. Do you know any names or other these people? Who are they?
One of the people that went to their house before was Tanner Butler. I just looked at my Facebook page now.
So that's how because those are one of the people that they said went to his house. So now I'm kind of hearing it, but let's just keep listening to how this all transpired.
His name's Tanner Butler. He was staying there with me and Stacy and Sarah at the time. Like all four of us were roommates.
So there it is. So now we have all four roommates. Remember, we knew there was two roommates in the house. It was Brandon and this Taylor. Tanner Butler. So there's the other roommates that we were looking for way back when. And this is one of those roommates right here. So again, now we're kind of dovetailing right into it. But I still thought she went to jail with the whole drug charge. She had the possession charge, the controlled substance charge, and some other things. But I didn't know that was related to this Tanner guy for some reason.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
And then I guess the whole thing on how this started was the fact that Sarah, like, kind of threatened him or, like, told him, get out of my house and don't come here no more because you were drinking. And I don't want you to be a bad influence on my poor little husband, Stacy. Well,
but this is her mister, and he's out in a hot tub with a Coors beer in his hand. Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
So yeah. And that was the incident earlier this year, around the beginning of April, right? They got arrested?
Correct.
Who got arrested?
Sarah did. Sarah Wandra. And then Stacy. Okay, so Stacy got arrested first.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, Sarah got arrested not long after.
Interesting.
And that was all over guns. It was all over a .17 caliber, some kind of little gun they had.
Yeah, I saw the reports, and I saw that. I read the indictment of Stacy. He was trying to sell a gun. I think it's the gun you just described, to a gun shop out in New Plymouth.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So, but you're saying Sarah got in a fight with this Tanner guy around the same time in her house?
Right after he went to give that gun to somebody else, then that is when.
Gucci floor.
That is loud. That is so loud. Maybe I should have had him disable the commercials.
And he went and tried to sell the gun to that gunsmith guy. And then right after that, Sarah was arrested for threatening that other roommate kid with a Glock or a gun or some shit.
So she's actually showing some violent tendencies that he is discussing at this moment with Brandon. I mean, Brandon's, you know, he's kind of opening up here. But right now, it doesn't sound like, I'm not sure if he's talking from being an eyewitness to the event that happened, or if he's just talking about what he heard happened for her to go to jail. Sounds like he had already left at this point. I don't know.
So it was all over Tanner drinking in the house.
Yes.
It's interesting that you say that because I've observed posts from Sarah, you know, that she would make in her taxi group. She had a group called Faith Taxi, right? And she would make posts saying, I am not going to pick up anyone and deliver them to buy drugs or alcohol. I forbid that. I don't do drugs and alcohol. I don't want to be around drugs and alcohol. Something in that sense.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, how does she get picked up with paraphernalia? How is she charged with drug paraphernalia if she doesn't do that? Again, tomato, tomato.
So, you know, maybe, you know, she's just didn't want alcohol in the house. How long was Tanner staying there for?
He was staying there for like, I'd say we had a relationship for like 2 or 3 months off and on, where he just kind of come in, and then they gave him a taxi ride one day, and then they said that he could come kind of stay with them at nighttime a little bit. So
does that sound odd to you? They gave some guy a taxi ride and then just invite him in to come stay in their home? It just, I don't know. There's just some things that just don't make sense for me.
He could get a job in the day, and they're just trying to help him, give him a place to stay at night so he can work in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, get back on his feet, and then he's going to go back to his parents or whatever.
Interesting. So how long were you there at the house for?
I probably knew him for 2 years in total, and I probably stayed with them off and on for a year, because I went out and drove taxis at their little Faith Taxi business.
Yeah.
So I take.
So apparently, in order to have a job with their taxi cab service, you have to live with them. I don't know. Like, you can't make this stuff up. That's what it sounds like. Let's listen to that.
For 2 years in total, and I probably stayed with them off and on for a year, because I went out and drove taxis at their little Faith Taxi business.
Yeah.
So I take people to Walmart and give them groceries and help them out in the community and stuff like that. And then I'd go back and kind of hang out with them at nighttime, and we'd do a little barbecuing, drink a couple beers, whatever.
Drink a couple beers? I thought she didn't want alcohol in the home.
And then after that, that was pretty much it.
How much did they pay you doing the taxi? What were they paying?
Usually they charge like $2.25 or 50 cents a mile. So basically, they'll go out and let people go where they want to go, and they just cover the fuel and give them like a little tip or whatever. With groceries.
Okay. Did they have other people working for them besides you?
Yeah, they had one other guy that was working there, and then me and Stacy and Sarah. So there's like 4 total.
What was the other person's name? Do you know?
The other guy was I want to say it was another Hispanic guy that was my friend that they met during that time.
Yeah.
And we kind of hung out, and he had an SUV, and we drove around a little bit and talked, and he kind of stayed there like 1 or 2 nights.
Again, weird. Just meeting people and letting them come and stay the night. This seems like they're how they. I don't get it. I just think it's weird. They're a married couple having strange men stay in their home. I don't know about you, but to me, that is weird.
And then after that, he just kind of headed out.
You don't know his name?
I want to say it was like It wasn't Jesus. It was like, it was kind of like Caesar or Jesus, kind of like one of the.
Caesar or Jesus? Caesar. Remember, he did a story on a Caesar Gerudo. This is not the same Caesar, but you'll hear him explain that.
Those names, but it starts with J.
But it wasn't Caesar, the guy that was in the car with you in that picture, right? Not him.
Right, because that was when that picture was taken. I only met him like 1 or 2 other times before that. Stacey took me over to his house and we picked him up for a taxi ride, and we took him to like, I don't know, just one of his friends, and then came right back. And then we were all just chilling.
Yeah. So you're saying that this Tanner guy he must have done this to Michael. Tanner had to do something. You're hearing or you know?
No, I don't think Tanner did anything like that. I just know that Tanner and Sarah got in a fight, and that's why she got charges in the first place, because she didn't handle the situation properly.
Okay, so going back to the couple weeks ago when authorities went to the Wanderers' house with a warrant for the property to dig up looking for Michael, what brought them there? Like, who said what? Who said what to bring them there? Did the detectives tell you?
I think that they said that the cadaver dogs, they brought dogs over there and it alerted.
And one thing, we're about to hear something we didn't previously know about the case, but has since been brought up by one of the neighbors in a separate interview JLR did, or no, actually a separate interview the news did with this neighbor, and you're about to hear it.
Like on a scent trail or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there was rumors that there was a little tricycle bike over there and a little shirt or something like that.
Remember, we didn't hear anything about a scooter the entire time until the news broke about digging up the neighbor, the Wanderer's backyard, and a neighbor did an interview with a local TV news station and had stated something about a scooter or something. It could be a trike, something to that effect that none of us knew was missing or associated with Michael Vaughn. He's also referring to that right here. Guys, we got almost 1,200 people in the room. Please don't forget to hit the like button on your way in or on your way out. Hit that like button.
But why would people spread rumors? Are you thinking they were just trying to pin it on them?
Possibly. Yeah, I think that they were, I don't know.
Yeah, because it is interesting, and I'm so dumbfounded on this because we all want answers. Everybody wants answers, right? Everyone wants the truth. And I appreciate you telling me because, believe it or not, me digging in on you, I'm thinking, okay, this Brandon guy is involved because Sarah got arrested. But at the same time, people are like, well, Sarah's like kind of crazy, right? She's kind of mentally ill, and she could just been rambling, hey, I buried the body, when it's not true.
Yeah, and even if there was any bit of a slight suspicion or whatever that happened, I'm glad that they went there and looked, because that would be a way to find more clues to what is going on.
Yeah, because you told me you don't think Sarah or Stacey did this.
I don't think that they're capable of doing it because they're just kind of like normal people that just have little businesses trying to get money, just barely scraping to get by. They don't,
And then, okay, like what other business they got? They got the taxi business. What else?
And then they have an oil change business. So they started.
I want you guys to pay attention because he's just like, oh, I don't think they have the heart to do this or this, that, and the other. But now he's going to start talking about Stacey Wandra. And the what he's putting on for Stacey Wandra, how he's describing Stacey Wandra, contradicts that statement he just made. Listen.
Wandra's Loop, and that's what came up on the Google when you Googled it.
Yeah.
And then that is why I was there at all, ever, for any reason, is to help them with their oil change business, because I did that before and I'm good at it.
Where would they do the oil change at? At their house there or another location?
They had a little shop over there in Ontario, Oregon, where they did oil changes. They were renting it out. So
up to the arrest where she got arrested in April this year, was that business still running?
It was starting to slowly decrease because it was going good, and then one day Stacey had an argument with the owner and his daughter over a shop vac, if you can believe it or not. And they were sitting there just doing that. And he said, if you're going to treat my daughter and talk to her like that over just a shop back.
So again, just contradicted his statement. He said a couple sentences about, you know, they're just normal people. They, you know, they're just trying to scoop by. They're just, you know, they're just small business owners just trying to make a buck. Yeah, normal business people don't, you know, go off on their landlord or their landlord's daughter over a shop vac. Just saying.
Then I'm going to go ahead and not rent this to you guys anymore. You know what I mean? And you haven't paid me for a little bit anyway, so things are not up to date on the payments. You guys, your contract has been terminated.
Interesting. Yeah. So what about the taxi business? Was that still functioning up to when she got arrested?
Yes, sir, that is correct. Yeah, it was still functioning. And it'd still be going today if none of those charges would happen with her and Tanner. That's what set it off.
So she gets charged with arrested for fighting with Tanner. Does she get bond?
Yeah.
Does she just get released?
I think they gave her bond. They gave her bond for a little bit, and then they let her out on a preliminary hearing kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're waiting to determine if any more evidence comes up, if she really did, like, try to smack him with a dog bone, or if she tried to threaten him with a gun, or if that was true, or if it was just hearsay.
So he's accusing her of hitting her with a dog bone?
Yeah, he said that she smacked her with a dog bone and said, "Get out of my house right now."
So he's talking about her smacking somebody. Again, you know, he just said a few sentences ago, a few paragraphs ago, that these people aren't violent. It's hard for him to believe that they would do this. Now you're talking about Sarah threatening a guy with a Glock, hitting a guy with a bone. I don't know, but it seems like he's a little biased, and we might find out why closer to the end.
I'm calling the cops, and that's what started everything. And then right when that happened, me and her got in an argument as well, and I got my little van and I left and went home.
So you never went back after that?
Right. After that, I went back one time, and then I went back there and was hanging out with another friend. His name was...
Again, another man, probably that they picked up off the side of the road.
Randy, and he was from North Carolina, and he got in a crash with his motorhome, so they were trying to help him with that.
How did I guess? Oh, I forgot. I listened to this already once.
With the taxi, by giving him a ride to do the repairs on his pickup, they got totaled from the crash, and then from there, that's when that kind of went sideways. And
Makes me wonder, did he start driving a taxi too?
I went back there once, and me and him were trying to do the taxi by ourselves, but then Stacy got involved and got in with a new phone and tried to run the show in the company. And then me and Stacy got in arguments about who could drive the car, who couldn't, who could work, who couldn't. And it just became a big nightmare from there.
This guy doesn't sound like he has any financial attachment. He's just sleeping on these people's couch, working for them to drive a fake taxi cab. And it's unfortunate because now he's pissed off that the person in which he's sleeping on their couch is taking control of the business and talking about who can drive cars and who can't. That seems like a business decision made by an owner. Not like I'm saying anything about Stacy or Sarah's ownership or anything, but it just seems like he's taking almost a domineering role, this Brandon guy is, to a business that has nothing to do with him, or does it?
Interesting. Did they bring in like, it seems like they're just bringing people in because they want to help them.
Yes.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know. That was one of the biggest questions that was on my mind too. It's just like they were trying to. They said that they kind of did it for God, or they did it for the church, and they want to give people a place to sleep at night so they don't have to be homeless. You know.
But why all the weirdos? Why not normal people? Why can't you help out normal people?
Yeah, was Stacy religious?
He pretended to be, but he wasn't as like he believes in God, you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't believe in like all the religious practices like most people.
So I just want to clarify some things. I am seeing some of the chat. Let me put my face back on here. I am seeing some things in the chat. So I did want to just clarify something. I actually think for the most part, his recollection, as you guys will watch, it sounds like he's being mostly truthful. There are some things that clearly are his opinion, relating to the dynamic. Like, I don't understand the whole picking up weird, strange people you don't know and bringing them in your home and allowing them to sleep on your couch, or, you know, I know a lot of Christian people. My aunt is one of them. You know, she does help out people that are down and out. She's out in Mayaca. She's has given multiple people 3 hots and a cot for helping her work on her house, because she's just not able to do that. I kind of understand that, but it's not people she doesn't really know. It's not some stranger. It's people she's known for years that have been down on their luck. So I just find it very, very odd with the whole dynamic. And it seems like they're bringing these people in their home to run a taxi. This is just, I don't know. It's strange, but for the most part, I think he's mostly true. And there was somebody that said something that made me stop this, and I can't remember what it is. And that might be a lot to do with it, not a full deck. Somebody also said something about, you know, is Stacy or them, you know, the swinging thing, the bi thing. I don't know. I'm just saying, it just, to me already, we're only 13 minutes into this interview of 55 minutes. And to me, it just seems like there's something there he's not telling of what's going on. And it just, you know, he's talking about Stacy as if he's just a mere employee. It's just weird. It's just weird. I wonder if this is going to get clarified for us or not. Let's find out.
Yeah. But they went to church and they paid tithes and tried to help people and got money from the church to pay their bills, and they were with the church, you know.
Interesting. Well, see, people.
But why are they going to the church to have their bills paid when they're bringing in all these people and running, you know, businesses? You would think that they would be. He just said that they're tithing. How are they tithing if they're accepting money from the church? I don't get that. I mean, are they collecting the money from the church and giving that same money back to the church as a tithe? I'm a little confused about. These are the things I'm confused about.
Because people are saying about Sarah, right? Because they're saying right after Michael Vaughn went missing, then she starts making all these religious posts, like within a month after he went missing. And people are suspecting, is she trying to repent? Is she have a guilty conscience? Is she trying to deflect and try to thwart off anyone that's investigating her, act like she's religious? Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I know that they always kind of like hid behind it, or they went with those kind of things. Like the whole time I was there, they just say, "Oh, we believe in God, and God tells me what we should do for the day and how to help people, and we believe in doing good to the community, and it'll come back around," kind of like a good karma thing.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, they were kind of like good charity people. So I don't know why they would go from that to getting caught with guns and then trying to run off with the story
he's making a valid point here. Like, how did we go from, you know, being churchgoers to, you know, being felons and selling guns and all this other stuff? He's absolutely right.
It definitely didn't happen in front of my eyes, or else I would have reported it too, you know?
Yeah, so
that's why it's questioning to me.
And that's why I'm asking you questions, because maybe you have the clues of the idea, but you're saying that they couldn't have done it. Now, let's go back to that day Michael went missing, right? So
yeah,
that morning, where were you all at on July 27th, 2021, the day Michael was reported missing? Where were you guys at in the morning?
Okay, so earlier that day, I spent the night there because we came in towing my car from my mom's to their house. And we came back over there, and then right as soon as we were getting the car back to the neighborhood, the whole neighborhood was on high alert looking for the little boy, Michael Vaughn, and they said he went missing right that day earlier, right before we came in with the car we were towing. And then right as soon as that happened, I went out and tried to look for the kid with Sarah. We got in her little Toyota car and drove to the gas station and drove around after we got out of the pickup, and then tried to look in the field to see if he went down by the river or if he could be out just wandering lost, and, you know.
So don't you guys think that's interesting? It sounds like they actually participated in the search of this young boy.
That's what hit my mind first. And then from there, it was me and Sarah. We went to the gas station, got some milk, and then did this and that and came back. And then right when we got back, Carson had his pickup next door with a light bar on it. So I said, hey, we need to start this up and kind of go look in the neighborhood and the farmer field and the river. We got to go find this missing person report that just came out, you know? So that's what was on my mind right when it happened. But earlier, before that day, before we towed the car, we went to Applebee's. And
what time was that?
That was earlier in the day after we woke up and had breakfast and watched TV and coffee. And then we went, me and Sarah and one of our other friends that was there visiting for like a week or so because he came in from the airport. He wanted to go visit his family over by Nampa area somewhere, by the Karcher Mall.
Who was that?
So that's Adrian.
Is that the Adrian Hernandez?
No, that's a different guy. Adrian Hernandez, I was locked up and incarcerated with him at the Canyon County Jail earlier this year. And he was just there for like some kind of a quarrel or marijuana or just some little petty charge. And he's just there for that. But this Adrian that I'm talking about was a different person.
Who? Like, what's his last name?
I don't know his last name at all. I just know that he was Adrian and he had like kind of an afro. And we went and did kind of a YouTube video that day where we were trying to make music and kind of like a car crash scene. And we were hanging out with him doing that earlier. And then after that, me, Adrian, and Sarah went to Applebee's.
Remember, we had some leaked documents talking about how Sarah was bringing up a gentleman by the name of Adrian. And we were wondering, did an Adrian exist? I actually thought the man didn't exist. Well, lo and behold, he does.
Where we dropped him off there after me and Sarah got a chicken sandwich and a soda pop over there at the Popeyes restaurant.
Who bought the Applebee's? You or him? Or who paid?
Sarah took me to lunch over at Popeyes, and she was going to buy a sandwich for me, Adrian, and her, but he said, my family's here, I want to see him, so I'm going to go to Applebee's and go over here and have dinner with them, or lunch with them real quick, and then give me a little bit of time to do that, and then you guys come back and get me.
Yeah.
So we did that, and in the meantime, me and Sarah were bored just kind of driving around the mall, and we didn't know what to do, so I drove back over to my house to get a water bottle.
This doesn't make sense. Let's listen to this again. This is where, again, I just can't get my head wrapped around some of the decision-making process here. Listen, he's saying basically that he had to leave his house to go home to get a water bottle. Like, why didn't you just ask for a glass of water? Let me see if I'm listening to this right. Did I just hear what I thought I heard? Let's hear.
Sarah took me to lunch over at Popeyes, and she was going to buy a sandwich for me, Adrian, and her, but he said, my family's here, I want to see him, so I'm going to go to Applebee's and go over here and have dinner with them, or lunch with them real quick, and then give me a little bit of time to do that, and then you guys come back and get me.
Yeah.
So we did that, and in the meantime, me and Sarah were bored just kind of driving around the mall, and we didn't know what to do, so I drove back over to my house to get a water bottle and fill it up with water to bring back over to their house because I didn't like their water.
Yeah.
And then during that time, after that, we came back to the mall and we picked up Adrian, me and Sarah, and then all three of us, Sarah, Adrian, and we hopped in the car and we went back to the Fruitland house.
But I don't know if you remember, I think at the beginning of this video, and I could be wrong, and it just popped in my head. He kind of described this whole thing at the beginning, and he said that him and Sarah actually went in to Macy's shopping. But so I don't know. Some of the stuff's he's telling it. I mean, he's not really showing a whole lot of signs of deception, but some things just don't add up, I guess is the best way for me to describe it.
Where they do their taxi business.
All right. So where was Stacy during all of this?
He was back at the house.
So Stacy stayed. You think Stacy stayed home all that day? Stayed home?
We left him there at the house. I don't know if he stayed there the whole time or not, to be honest.
Was anyone else there with him?
I don't think so. I think it was just him home alone that day. And that was before we went to tow.
I don't know who. I don't have time again to be be policing, or the mods shouldn't have to be policing adults in this room. So guys, keep it clean. Mean what you say what you mean, but you don't have to say it mean. The mods are instructed, if you say something disrespectful, you will have your comment removed. Second time, you're going to be timed out. Third time, you will be blocked. We're not really playing. You guys are all adults in here, so please, you guys can have normal discord. There is, people aren't going to be parroting everybody else's opinion on this. Some people may like this guy, some people may not. Some people may think his story's fishy, some people may not. It really all is, dependent upon your personality and the way you process information. So we're allowed to have differing opinions, but we're not allowed to be mean to each other in the chat. So guys, let's be adults.
Oh,
And they had dogs and cats there.
Thank you, Carol, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank
they had
you.
one hound dog and like 3 or 4 tuxedo cats.
So Stacy's there. You guys go out. What was Adrian doing at the mall?
He was just visiting his girlfriend and his son. And then after that, we went over to Macy's and kind of went in there and shopped around for clothes a little bit. And we were playing on our iPads and just taking pictures, goofing off. And then from there, we go back, and then that's how it goes.
Well, what about the afternoon from the mall to you going back to the neighborhood? Did you guys go anywhere else? Stop anywhere else?
We just went over to a pawn shop, I think, just kind of look around at the pawn shop a little bit. And then I think he bought like an iPad, or he was trying to get a new iPad, I think.
That's Adrian, right?
Right, yes, sir. And then I think he bought one there. We went to the pawn shop, bought an iPad, and then came back and we were just chilling.
So what car were you guys all in?
We were in that little Toyota, 2016 Toyota Corolla.
Okay, what is that? What color is it? White?
It's the blue one.
A blue. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember you were telling me that they were towing your car. You told me earlier in another conversation that your car was being towed by their truck that day.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So where's that come into play here?
So I asked them earlier that day if we could use their pickup to go to my house, my mom's house, and get my Mercedes-Benz and tow it back over there so I could work on it if I was going to be hanging out over there doing the taxi business.
Yeah. So when did you guys go over there to get your car?
I think it was around like 6 or 7 at night.
6 or 7. Then you're saying why?
I still think that's odd with the time frame, 6 or 7 at night. I mean, granted, it is still light out at that time, but that's the exact time that the area of time when Michael disappears, and they're going to tow a car back to the house right in that time frame. It just, so prior to this, he was talking about where Stacy was and how Stacy was home alone and all these other things, but they came back from that, and then they decided they wanted to tow his car. So I want to hear this, but this is where the meat and potatoes of this conversation start coming into play. So we're going to pay attention. I want you guys, if you guys are taking notes or whatever, we're going to be discussing it after we're done with this. I want to get y'all's perspective on it as well.
While you're coming back, that's when you noticed everyone searching for Michael?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remember going to the gas station. We were probably at the gas station filling up like right at 7.
Right at 7. What gas station?
There's the Chevron right there just up from their house.
Yeah. So where you were seeing people out there looking for Michael, or you were seeing police?
I was just seeing police cars cruising around, and I was seeing a lot of like the neighbors going out in their cars cruising around, and just like the whole subdivision from the left side to the right side. They were all just out, everybody walking around and looking, and flashlights, search and rescue was there, police, everything.
But how did you know they were looking for Michael?
Because so when we were pulling into the subdivision, Sarah was driving the pickup, and she stopped and talked to the neighbor that was coming down the road the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
And she stopped right there in the middle of the road, and they both opened their doors and they started talking to each other right there.
Okay. And you told me you never seen Michael Vaughn before in your life prior.
Right. I never met him or his parents ever before. I just know that they're neighbors of where I was staying over there with the Wanderers. They live like diagonal.
Yeah. What about the okay. Yeah, I got so many questions. All right. So Adrian, where's he from?
I think he's from California somewhere.
So, but how did he get up there? Like, how did he end up there in Idaho?
He just flew in from California to come see his son and his old girlfriend or whatever.
But where did Sarah meet him? Like, how does she know him?
I don't know. I think he just randomly like called their phone one day from the airport and said, "Can you give me a ride from here to there or whatever?" And that's probably how those two met.
And again, what? What?
Yeah, because, obviously, Sarah, according to this arrest affidavit, she's claiming that this Adrian guy helped bury Michael in her yard. That's what she said, according to the arrest affidavit, or the neighbors. She also said the neighbor's yard, too.
Right?
So, people are wondering, who's Adrian?
Yeah, he's just some kid that came here from California for a little bit to visit his son and his old girlfriend.
Did he get arrested at all?
No, he didn't get arrested or talked to or nothing.
So he's saying he didn't get talked to. I don't know if he didn't get talked to or not. I mean, if he was with Sarah that day that Michael went missing, and Sarah has stated that an Adrian hurt the boy, and they were too scared to say it, then I would think law enforcement wants to speak to this Adrian guy. It's just a thought.
So how long was he there at their house for?
He was only there for like a week up to 2 weeks, tops.
After Michael went missing?
After Michael went missing, I'm pretty sure he was there for like a couple days after that as well.
Oh.
Wow. That's interesting.
Okay, so he was there about a week and a half prior to Michael being missing. Then Michael went missing, and then a couple days later, he goes back to California.
I think so, yeah.
Do you know where in California?
I have no idea.
You're in a hot tub. I see you're in a hot tub.
And right behind here is snow. That's snow, guys. He's outside in a hot tub drinking a Coors beer in the snow.
Is that the North Dakota life?
Yeah, that's North Dakota life, trying to stay warm out here right now.
Yeah. Interesting. So interesting. Now, did you know that, like, Stacy had, like, crazy criminal record in the past of being in the feds and locked up and all that kind of stuff? Did you know that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he talked to me previously before that, and he said that he got locked up for, like, a year or two because he lied on a federal application to buy a gun or something at a store.
So you seen him with guns. Like, why would he still have guns if he already got arrested for it? Did he just not care? Or?
I think that was it or something. Because at first he said, "Hey, I know that you're not a felon and you can have guns. Do you want me to try to find you a gun?" And I said, "No, I already have a gun. I don't need to get another one, you know."
So
but
what?
If you are selling that,
so it sounds like this Stacy has a fascination with guns and having guns and being around people with guns. Little odd for me.
Another little 17 or whatever, I'll buy it if I get money from you guys paying me from doing taxiing. You know, that was our first previous conversation.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wonder why he was so interested in you getting a gun. You know, like why does he want others to get a gun? Is he like fascinated with guns?
Yeah, I think he comes from a background where like him and his grandpa used to hunt back in the day before he got in trouble. Like when he went out with other people that were responsible, he probably did some hunting.
So
when he back in the day when he went out with people that are responsible, he made that point, responsible. Why would he use that word? And he was just saying at the beginning, you know, several minutes ago, about 10 or so minutes ago, that these people were just normal people. And it's hard for him to believe that anything like this could happen to them. Little odd. Let's keep listening.
Some people are saying that does Sarah have any kids that you knew of or had kids?
No, sir.
This is going to be some graphic information that's about to come up. If there's any children that, I mean, it's not graphic, but, you know, it's probably not for, you know, under the age of 15 to be listening to. So if you have, excuse me, if you have anybody that's under the age of 15 in the room, you might want to ask them to leave just for a few minutes, Let's get past this. And what you'll be able to, once you hear what he has to say, you'll know why I want the kids to leave.
See, some people speculated that Michael, if Sarah is involved and she got arrested, but people were speculating, hey, maybe Sarah did it because she wanted a kid on her own because she couldn't have kids, or, you know, what do you think?
Hold on just a second here. I'm in an interview right now, so I'm gonna have to do this real quick. I think that she couldn't have kids because her husband Stacy said that he got his nuts crushed in a bull riding rodeo accident or whatever, blah blah blah. He said he used to bull ride and a bull stepped on his thing and crushed it, so he couldn't have him.
So he couldn't give her a child.
The kids can come back in now.
Right, and he wanted a kid and she really didn't.
Oh, she didn't want a child.
No, she didn't really want to have a kid, but he was trying to push that on her.
So is it possible? Okay, so you're with Sarah and you're with Adrian out, or getting your car and bringing it back. Is it possible Stacy was home left alone and did something and maybe like went out and snatched Michael? I mean, how do you guys know about Stacy's whereabouts at the time?
I personally don't. So I'm saying that could be a possibility.
Because there was no one else there with him, correct?
Now, let me ask you this, and all a real on a real note. Let me take this off so you guys can see what I'm doing. On a real note, if you were living with somebody so much so that you come out, you know, just 10 minutes prior to said, I can't believe they're being accused of this. You know, I don't think that they could do this. You know, they're just, you know, just trying, they're just small business owners trying to earn a buck. And further in the interview, JLR asks him, while you're out getting the truck, do you think Stacy could have done this? And he says, it's possible. It's probable that he could have done this. How did you get from 10 minutes ago of there's no way, they're just, you know, normal people to, yeah, I can kind of see it? How did we get there? So again, I believe what he's saying is truthful, but I just feel like as he's processing this, he's not processing or he's not stating facts. I think he's trying to be nice, but as, you know, or not, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think he's telling JLR, at first he was trying to be, you know, respectful, nice and everything. And as JLR is talking to him, he's bringing more information out of him. And the more information out of him is contradicting the earlier stuff he was stating when he was trying to be, you know, nice and respectful to the Wandras and Sarah and everything. But as they're talking, you know, he's still being respectful, but it's still provoking a little more conversation related to them. So that's why I say I believe he's truthful, but there are some things that aren't making sense, and not, they do make sense. They're just contradictory toward each other. So let's just keep listening.
Right. Yes, sir.
But you're saying that you were with Sarah all that day. You and Adrian and Sarah were all together throughout that whole day, starting in the morning. And you didn't, like, she didn't go off on her own or do anything?
No, I was with Sarah that whole day and Adrian.
Why would another man be out with another man's wife is, I think, one of the first questions I have.
The whole day and Adrian. And then Stacy was left home alone.
Stacy was left home alone. What, like, there when you guys were out, what cars were there with Stacy?
I think he had his little Cadillac Escalade that he cruised around at that time.
What color was that?
It was a white one, an older one that he traded his pickup in for. That when that pickup started to have a couple issues, instead of getting it fixed, he just traded it in.
Yeah. See, you know, because he's left alone and no one else is there with him. I wonder if he ventured out. Yeah. Okay. For instance, when you guys got back, was he in the house?
Yeah, he was in there. He was in there on the couch. I'm pretty sure.
What was he doing?
Just watching TV.
Like he never even went anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, because he's left alone. It seems like you three have it. You guys are each other's alibis, I guess. And you're saying you did whatever throughout the day, and I appreciate you talking to me. I mean, like somebody that would be guilty wouldn't be telling all this in a sense, But people just want answers.
Yeah, and I want answers too. I don't think Adrian did it, and I don't think Sarah did it. But Stacy, I know that sometimes he's lied to me and he's lied to others, and he's done.
We're about to have an ad in 3 seconds, so I'm going to mute it.
He says he'll do something, and then you really don't do it.
So, anyways, I'm just going to mute this for a second. I think it'll pop back on after this is over with. Nope, there's another one. Let's give it a second. We're almost through it.
I asked him about that, and I was trying to teach him that you're not supposed to do that in life, and then he'll get sometimes mad at me, So that's
let's go back.
You're not supposed to do something. That sometimes he's lied to me and he's lied to others, and he's done.
So this is the same person that he just said that he doesn't believe could do this, and now as they're talking about it, you can see he's starting to get some emotion out of Brandon, and Brandon's kind of letting more out than he probably initially expected to. So now he's saying he's starting to give us some inside scoop information, like Stacy's been known to lie and has lied in the past and has lied personally to him. And so it makes him not trust Stacy.
He says he'll do something, and then you really don't do it. And I got after him about that, and I was trying to teach him that you're not supposed to do that in life, and then he'll get sometimes mad at me, So that's where my trail kind of ends, and that's where I'm kind of curious in my own head.
With Stacy?
With Stacy, I'd like to talk to him personally, and if he was here right now, I'd be talking with him and say, hey, I know you and me did. I know that you broke my watch, and, you thought I wanted to steal your girl or this or that, but that was all accusations. It's not true. I was just there to help you guys work.
That I would want to steal your girl. Well, I mean, I don't know. But when you are picked up by the girl, brought home, put on a couch, given a keys to a car, and are constantly running all over town with her, shopping with her, going here, going there, going to lunch, all these things while the husband stays home, yeah, I can kind of see where that misunderstanding could come from. But is it a misunderstanding? I mean, we kind of are hearing him beat up Stacy a lot while protecting Sarah, and it makes me wonder, is there a reason?
Make a business and pay the bills. That was my whole objective.
So he was accusing you of trying to get with Sarah?
Yes, sir. Like every day.
Every day. But he didn't kick you out of the house?
Weird,
right,
huh?
He liked me a little bit because I was kind of the cool guy on the block, hanging out, trying to save the day.
Does that guy look like the cool guy on the block? I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
And he got a little bit jealous of it, and I wanted to kind of shut that down and say, hey, we're all friends. You keep your work. You guys get along, and you guys stop doing that, kind of like a counselor or a mediator.
Oh, what a great friend. I'm glad you're a counselor or a mediator. But are you a counselor or a mediator, or are you part of the problem?
Was he ever did you ever see him do any violence?
No. He pretended to try to be a tough guy, try to do that kind of stuff, but he never did it when I was around.
He's a pretty big dude.
He's a heavy feller. He's like 450, 500 pounds.
Woo.
So, I mean, if you see him walk, does he get tired when he walks a short distance?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's interesting. So he's left alone. You guys are out. Michael Vaughn goes missing around, we'll say, 7 p.m. And, what happened? Where was Starkey? Where was Carson Starkey?
I think he was driving for another company at that time.
Okay, hold on.
Sarah and Stacy, because they were.
So Carson Starkey. I'm going to go back. I'm going to rewind this back just a little bit. Carson Starkey, if you guys don't know who Carson is the RSO that lives at 1100 Red Wing. The Wanderers live at 1102. Okay, a lot of people, when they started digging up this back driveway, because they almost look like they share a gate in a sense. They thought it was the RSOs, the Carsons. Well, and the Carsons have, again, both the husband and wife are RSOs. A little creepy. And JLR did an interview with the Carsons, and I implore you to go back and watch that, because what I find odd is the guy acted like he didn't know the Wanderers. This RSO acted like he had no idea who the Wanderers were, didn't really know them too well. And then as JLR's proceeding with the interview, he says, oh, but by the way, I have the key to the house, and oh, by the way, I've worked on their car. And so you could start seeing that there was a lot more there between the Carsons and the Wanderers than met the eye. Well, you just heard Brandon talk about, I think he started driving for another taxi service. What? He told JLR he barely knew the Wanderers. And to come to find out, he actually worked for them. Neighbors. So we have these RSOs, and those are registered offenders, right? Both husband and wife that live right next to the Wanderers. JLR also broke the video, the interview, or excuse me, the first person that was with Brandon in a photo of a Caesar Garudo, which is a bad dude. So now you have these RSOs that live next to the Wanderers, working for the Wanderers. You got this other bad dude that sat on their couch for weeks. Then you have Adrian that was there visiting from out of town, doesn't know how he even met the Wanderers, but sleeping on their couch, and leaves a few days after Michael Monkey Vaughn disappears. This is some strange stuff, guys. I mean, this guy's talking like this is normal life. For somebody like me, I'm thinking this isn't normal. This isn't normal behavior. This is not what normal people do. This is not what normal religious people do. I'm not kidding it. So let's just keep listening. I'm sure this is all going to button itself up here shortly.
I think he was driving for another company at that time because he was mad.
Let's go back.
What happened? Where was Starkey? Where was Carson Starkey?
Carson Starkey. Starkey's not the Carsons.
I think he was driving for another company at that time because he was mad at Sarah and Stacy.
Mad at Sarah and Stacy. A guy that didn't know them that well is mad at them for some reason. Interesting.
Give him a little bit of bluff or a little bit of grief. And he was like, you know what? I can go work somewhere else or be part of somebody else. I don't have to sit here and take your guys' nonsense.
So, interesting. What about the Cesar Garudo? What's the deal with him? Is he involved? Could he be involved? Was he around their house?
I know that he went to their house like one time. Other than that, me and Stacy went to his house one time, and he had a couple other friends over there, and they were just kind of hanging out and chilling with a couple other people.
But Cesar was not around the house the time Michael went missing.
As best as I know, yeah, that's true.
Interesting. So you never seen Michael. Have you ever hear Sarah or Stacy talk about the bonds or mention the bonds or say anything?
Never once. Not even. The only time I heard them ever mention the bonds is when they stopped the car that day and they said, "Hey, there's somebody that's missing in the neighborhood. His name's Michael Vaughn. Do you guys know him or know where he went?" That was the first time that came up to my attention. And then, as far as I know, they both said, no, we don't know where he's at. Let's go help look for him from that point.
Interesting. Yeah. Man, I'm so scatterbrained here because it's just a mystery. It's a mystery.
It is. That's all it is right now at this point, yeah.
But you're assuring, like, if the Vaughns were watching right now, what would you say to Michael Vaughn's family?
I would say, don't lose hope. Keep your head up, keep your chin up, and know that he might still be out there somewhere because they never brought him into their house when I was there, not once. No little kids ever even came into that house, and I was there like a good majority of the time running a taxi business. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the people that I knew that was there, they seemed like they were all right, decent people that weren't trying to do that. They were just trying to have normal, everyday lives, you know?
So, what's your family think about what's going on? Did you tell them?
Yeah, I told them. The police and the detectives and everything, they've been at my mom's house since I've been gone, doing like siding in Montana and stuff, trying to pay bills, and they're beside themselves and just scared, freaking out, don't know what's happening, what's going on.
So, do you feel like the detectives think you're involved, or they just want to ask you more about the Wanderers? What is the detectives' reasons of coming to you?
I think they want to find out more about like the Wanderers and their lifestyle, of how they are and what they do. And I'm probably the best guy to ask because I was there around them.
Their lifestyle. That's interesting to say, don't you think? Their lifestyle. I'm questioning their lifestyle as well. Like, this is some weird stuff. You don't typically have a married couple that picks up strange dudes and brings them back home and puts them on their couch. You don't hear them saying this about women. This is all guys. Weird, don't you think? Or maybe this taxi cab never has picked up a woman before. I don't know.
The most at that time.
Did you feel detectives think you did something, or was it, were they hard on you and questioning? Were they making you feel like you're guilty of something?
Well, they were pretty stern. You know, they wanted to get to the bottom of it, and they kind of interrogated me, and they were pretty rough and aggressive with it. And I said, "Listen, guys, I didn't do it at all. And if they're saying that this happened and that they did it, they know more about it than I did, because when I was around them, they didn't act that way." So they're like, "Okay." And then from there, it's just been kind of like, they hit me hard, and I told them everything I know, and then it's been a stale-fish, a standstill. And we're just trying to see, like, who all was even at that point in time in history.
So you're not nervous at all? Are you nervous about being arrested at all, or anything?
Yeah, that definitely crosses my mind every day, and I know that if I go...
Again, it makes me wonder why. Like, I don't know, I have never felt like I was going to be arrested for doing absolutely nothing except when I was in Chatham County, Georgia. That was the only time I ever felt that I would be arrested for not breaking the law. I am never in fear of being arrested, and it does take, somebody can lie on an affidavit, right? And it could result in an arrest, but this is not, he's worried about being arrested by the feds. I believe what he's saying, and he's being truthful, but it still concerns me why he thinks he would be arrested. I don't know. Let's go back and listen.
Yeah, that definitely crosses my mind every day, and I know that if I go back to Idaho, I'll be arrested immediately, and they're going to talk about me about my marijuana charges, probably do 20, 30 days in jail myself if I go back, and then from there.
So you have pending charges in Idaho?
Yeah, I have pending charges in Idaho just from probation and like possession of marijuana.
So, and also, again, another contradiction is that Sarah didn't want anybody in the house that does drugs or alcohol. And he's got charges for marijuana, probation issues, and he's sitting there drinking Coors while he's giving this interview.
And that's what I was in trouble with those guys for before.
I appreciate your honesty with that. Appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
So, but JLR did bring up a point. I mean, this guy has been honest about just about everything. It appears. I mean, he's having the same exact body language and demeanor right now talking about these drug charges as he was talking about that day. So, it is still, I know some people don't believe him. I'm kind of 50-50 on him, but I do believe a lot of what he's saying is to be true.
You're not going to go back there and try to settle it, or do you think they're going to extradite you, try to scoop you up there where you're at?
I think for now it's just a basis of I need to get back to work and get some money because I still owe them money on those charges.
Yeah.
So I need I kind of just came here trying to get to work because the other people I was working for, it was hard to get paid and pay all my bills on time. So I'm just trying to find a solution to make it peaceful for everyone and kind of find out what's going on here and get to the bottom of it. That's what's on my mind right now.
Did detectives ask you about any other names besides the Wanderers? They say any names?
The biggest names that are coming up right now on this is Stacy, Sarah, Adrian, that Guaro.
Garudo?
Garudo. Yeah, Caesar, Garudo, and me, and I think that's it from that.
So all the people that were there that day. Got it. Oh, except he said Caesar wasn't there, which I found odd because why would they be looking at Caesar if he wasn't there? I don't know.
Very day.
No mention of Starkeys.
The Starkeys, I know that they had previous charges from stuff, whatever they did in their life before. I don't even know. But, yeah, they said that they went to their house and asked them. They asked Mr. Carson Starkey and his mother that was hanging out there. And they questioned Dorothy, his ex-wife, that she can't really hear that good. She has to write everything down on paper.
Sorry if it burst your ears. Sorry about that. That'll be off in just a second.
And what she heard or seen or knows or anything like that. So I know that they've been there. I know they dug up the yard, and it's a big case, big thing here.
So you've been so now you've been Googling around following this case?
Yeah.
So I'm a little weird about that too, like him following the case. You know, he did scratch above his eye. You know, there are some involuntary movements here that are giving some, weird signals. But, you know, we're going to open up the panel and see what everybody thinks about this here shortly. But for right now, let's just keep going.
And yes, sir. And then I seen your YouTube that you put out this morning. You know what I mean? My picture right next to those guys, and that's when it really started to hit home. And I was like, I got to find everything I can do to help. I don't even care about me and my freedom anymore. I need to figure out what's going on.
Why would your freedom be in jeopardy? I'm still unclear about this, Brandon. Why would your freedom be in jeopardy?
On here and stop the lying and bring the truth to everything that I can and help.
Yeah. Do you think, based off what you've been seeing, do you think any of the Vaughans are involved?
At first, my very first thought on all that, I thought, well, maybe just the mom and the dad got in a fight about custody, because I got in a fight with my ex before about custody, and I know how that can go. So I thought it was just kind of like one of those things from the beginning. Just who gets who, and maybe the dad came and got the kid and took him to his house, and the mom got all mad and called the cops, and that's what I thought it was from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then my second thought from there is that he might have went missing. He might have went out from his neighborhood because he was trying to go play with other kids like that, his age, and he might have got out in that field and went too far down. There's that Snake River right there by the Ontario-Idaho border right there. So I said, I hope he didn't fall in there and didn't know how to swim, or if he swam to the other side and got lost, or who found him, or what, because there's a million bazillion possibilities that could happen right here.
Yeah. Inside the Wander house, what does it look like inside there?
It's just a regular, double wide kind of a trailer house. It's not a double wide, but it's a manufactured stick built home. Just a regular 1, 2, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and a garage house.
Do they have a basement?
And they have a crawl space under there.
This is what I find interesting, and I find it interesting that he brings this specific thing up. Who would have thought about this?
In their master bedroom. You walk in their master bedroom, take a right, and there's this little crawl space right there. How
would he know that? I mean, he explains it, but he doesn't close my worry box with this. He doesn't close my worry box with this at all.
And I know that was open one day, and I went in there and looked, and there was some kind of one of their cats that got down in there and pissed everywhere.
Oh, really? Why were you looking down there?
Because it was open.
Oh, you were just seeing what it was.
Yeah.
What about an attic?
the door was open, like they wanted their cats to go down in there or something. Like that was another.
I wonder if they wanted the cats to go down in there to tamper with maybe smells. That was odd. That was an odd statement for him to say. It was almost like they wanted the cats to go down. Who would want the cats to go underneath their house into a crawl space and piss? Who would want that? Listen to that again.
Yeah.
What about an
Well,
attic?
the door was open, like they wanted their cats to go down in there or something. Like that was another. I don't know. I went in their bedroom and looked to the right one day, and then that thing was open. Their basement crawl space door.
Where's it at in their bedroom? Under their bed? Is it noticeable? Is it hidden?
It's kind of, you go in their bedroom and then you go straight into their master bedroom. There's a shower on the left, and then right when you turn to the right, there's just like this little hatch door that opens.
But if someone just you could see the hatch from the wall, or you could tell something's there. I mean, is it hidden?
It's cut into the carpet, so it's like just a big piece of carpet with like a little square kind of cut out on two sides, and then it comes open.
Do they have an attic?
So it sounds like it's like a hidden one, even though it does have a handle that's a flush mount. It sounds like it's like, unless you're looking for it, you don't see it.
I'm not sure. I don't think they do.
Is their house? What at the time you were there? Was it all dirty, messy, clean?
For the most part, it's pretty messy.
I think I saw a photo of you sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. That's pretty much the main spot where I hung out. Is just answered phones off the couch and went and drove taxis and went back to the couch, played PS4 and drank some beers and went to bed.
Who else was in that house that you've seen when you were there? Like anyone else that we haven't named that was inside that house ever?
This Black Friday, dare to
sorry.
dream and make it happen at Ryu Hotel.
Hopefully we'll see. Got a couple of stuff here. We'll get right back to it.
I think there was like three or four people at least when I was there that came there. And this one guy, he got in trouble for like a BB gun and some knives or something like that. He went outside the house because him and another person other than Tanner.
So again, it just doesn't make sense. They're Christian people. They don't like the drugs, the alcohol, yet Sarah's a felon, her husband's a felon, and all this chaos is going on. Something doesn't smell right to me. It just doesn't. And now we got knives and other guns coming in from other people. Let me guess. She picked this other guy up from where? Her taxi cab service? Because he was down and out, she put him on her couch? I mean, it seems like it's the same thing from one person to another of how these people met them. It's weird.
Got in a fight with Sarah about staying in the house and God and religion and all that. And he went cruising around the neighborhood and he had like some kind of a knife still. And he was threatening that if he doesn't get to come back in the house, then he's going to like slice some people up or do this and that.
What's his name?
I'm not quite sure on that. It was just some guy that was kind of walking the streets of Ontario.
And they brought him to the house.
I'm not trying to laugh, guys. I'm seriously not trying to laugh. This is a really, really serious topic. But you have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he was like a homeless guy in Ontario that they met one day and they just brought him back to his house.
Interesting. It does seem like it goes into a pattern of them just bringing people off the streets, or people just, they feel like they want to help and bringing strangers into their home.
Yeah.
Putting everybody in their community in danger, by the way. Everybody.
So if something did happen, it happened like that. You know what I mean? Just people that you don't even know who the hell they are or what they're doing or what their motives are, and they just bring them in like their family. You know what I mean?
What would they all like? Would you all eat dinner together? Who cooked? Like, did everybody fend for themselves?
No, Sarah.
This is weird.
Sarah and I, and then we come home and she'd cook a nice.
Sarah and I, then we come home. What? Do you hear that? Sarah and I, and we come home. This doesn't sound, you know, and he's adamant about, he's almost talking about it in the beginning of this interview about how Stacy decided to get new phones and wanted to run the business, as if Stacy, like, this is just weird to me. I'm wondering if this is going to be cleared up. I keep wondering.
What would they all like? Would you all eat dinner together? Who cooked?
This is
like,
weird.
Did everybody fend for themselves?
No, Sarah. We'd go out shopping, Sarah and I, and then we come home and she'd cook a nice meal for Stacy and her and whoever was over there for a guest. You know, that was the usual behavior.
Did Sarah use profanity?
She tried not to, but when she got really super mad, yes, sir, she was good at it.
What would she get mad about?
She'd just get mad about her house not being perfectly clean or things not being the way that she wanted them to be, and just a lot of OCD. She had a lot of OCD and things being just how she left them.
Would she get mad at others or mad at herself?
No, mad at others.
Because like Stacy would leave something out and she would get mad.
Yeah.
So you
right.
So have you seen them arguing with each other?
Yeah, almost every day. She'd go around and he'd be making messes and she'd be cleaning it up and getting after him, trying to whap him with a pot and a pan, you know, just like, you son of a bitch, clean your...
Did he just say whack him with a pot and pan? I'm sorry.
Yeah, almost every day. She'd go around and he'd be making messes and she'd be cleaning it up and getting after him, trying to whap him with a pot and a pan, you know, just like, you son of a bitch, clean your shit up or get gone.
So you've seen her hit him with pots and pans?
Well, she didn't actually hit him, but if I would have been her, hit him, because sometimes he makes messes and he just don't care and he's kind of like a little pig in a pig pen, just kind of really sloppy.
Did you ever see her actually hit him or him hit her?
No, they never did that when I was there. They were just like, they just talk back and forth, kind of getting like, oh, I love you, little boo bear. I love you, little boo bear. And they'd be back and forth. And they were just like jokesters, kidsters.
Did she actually try to hit on you, or is that true or no?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she liked me. She was trying to get at me pretty good there for a long time. And I said, hey, listen, you're married. You know what I mean? We can't even be on the same couch chilling together doing this and that. And I'm not going to give you and Stacy a kid. And I'm not going to do that. I'll help you guys do taxi, and other than that, I'm going.
He's not going to help them get a kid or make them a kid. He said that, guys.
Home. And not on the same couch chilling together doing this and that. And I'm not going to give you and Stacy a kid. And I'm not going to do that. I'll help you guys do taxi, and other than that, I'm going home. And that's what made her mad.
She actually said she wanted you to give them a kid.
Well, she said that before, and like when they were hanging out in Vegas, living in Vegas, that she said that she tried to do that with somebody else before, and they wanted to know if I'd be able to do that for them. And I said, yeah, probably not.
Interesting. What were they doing in Vegas?
I think they just went over there and they had some friends or doing taxis over there.
Oh, yeah, taxis over there. So they were picking up strange people and bringing them back to their hotel room. Let me guess, that's what we're going to find out.
I think Stacy might have a sister or a relative that lives in Vegas. You know anything about that?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
So
I know that.
No, go ahead.
I know that they went over there and they did like a long distance taxi. So that's like how they made their best money, because instead of like hundreds of dollars, it goes to thousands of dollars. So that's how they make their better money traveling across country.
Discover.
So they say. Let me mute this while it plays. So this, guys, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, seriously, cannot make this stuff up. This has got my, like, I'm having to shut my mouth, like literally shut my mouth.
Because right after, okay. For one other question about you. So you've done no sexual stuff with Sarah ever?
Well, at one time or another, we were just kind of like
Let's go back to that question. Now we're getting a little more focus here.
Their money traveling across country.
Yeah, because right after, okay. For one other question about you. So you done no sexual stuff with Sarah ever?
Well, at one time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. And we're going to finish this up. You know, I'm not going to leave you guys because he's going to try to explain it. But that means yes. This is where this stuff, you know, he's not being forthcoming about his relationship with Sarah. It sounds like they did a lot more than what he's trying to allege that they did. You know, he's acting like he's, you know, they're always going away. We went to the store and we came back and she'd cook us a nice dinner. You know, come on. There seems to be more going on here, but still awfully strange that they are, you know, picking strange people up, strange men up and bringing them back to their house to stay. This is a huge pattern for them. And my question is why? And don't say you know, they're going to say it is, but we know there's no way that it could possibly be just because they're Christian and this is the right thing to do, because why is it always men and not any females? We haven't heard over this last 2 years that this guy has known these people, him saying one time they picked up a female and put her on the couch. So there's something strange going on here, in my opinion. It may not be.
For another, we were just kind of like hanging out, laying on a mattress. She was trying to make out with me, this or that, and kind of like filled me up a little bit. And I said, whoa, slow down, you're already married.
Oh, I'm sure that's what this Yahoo said. He doesn't look like he gets lucky very often. And the one time he does, he's like, oh, whoa. I got morals over here. Come on, give me a break.
You know. So from there, that was about the part.
So she's doing this while she's playing the God card, religious card.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's why I don't.
Yeah. And and JLR hit that nail on the head. She's doing this while she's playing the God card.
Playing the God card, religious card.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's why I don't like religion. It puts a bad taste in my mouth and others. It's like you can't do stuff like that if you're gonna pretend like you're holier than thou. You know.
Yeah. Now, do you know anything about their trip to Texas? In like around, I guess, a couple months after Michael Vaughn went missing, they went to Texas.
No, sir. I know nothing about that recent. Now, I do recall them saying something about that previously, where Sarah lived in Texas with another man.
Okay.
Now, I don't know nothing about that, but I know it was kind of like not a good deal.
So it's my belief that Sarah was once married prior to Stacy.
Yes,
I believe it was to a last name of a guy named Chambers.
Yep, that might be him.
Ricky Chambers, I believe.
Yep, I think that sounds right.
So he does have ties to Texas and Arkansas and Oregon. So maybe that's why she was there. I don't know.
Maybe.
Did she ever talk about her ex-husband?
She talked about him a couple times, about like how she wanted to get out of there, and then he got mad one time and kind of locked her in a room, and they were fighting way back in the day before I knew her. That's all I heard about.
Again, and at the beginning he said, oh no, there's no way. These are just two kind souls, two business owners that are just trying to make ends meet. And now, you know, half hour into this conversation, a few beers later, now we got people locking people in rooms. We find out that there's a cubby hole that is in their master bedroom that they ended up opening and letting cats pee all in it. And it looked like they intentionally left it open for the cats to pee in it. You know, now we're starting to get somewhere.
About it.
When and where did Stacy get married to, or Stacy and Sarah get married? Where? When and where?
I think they got married somewhere in Montana, and just like not too much. They were only married for a year or two before I met Stacy. And then after that, he was like, hey, you want to come to my house and hang out and bring the barbecuer in and meet my wife, and we'll have a good time. Like I think his grandpa taught him and instilled like some family values into him. So Stacy's a good guy when he don't lie, but he's got some kind of fetal alcohol syndrome, which prevents him from being normal.
So he knows this. So we got fetal alcohol syndrome that prevents Stacy from being normal. That could be a clue.
I think it's the same thing.
So what month and year did you meet Stacy?
I probably met him in like 2020 or 2019, something like that, a couple years back. And then I helped him with this. There was this other gentleman, his name was Labor Dave, and he had a lawn mowing business and a furniture moving business. And that's where we met, is when I was a U-Haul driver, and I helped go around and move everybody's furniture, me and him.
What
And
town was that in?
That was probably in like Boise, Idaho.
Okay, so you met him in Boise.
Yeah.
According to his court stuff, he got out of jail or prison or jail in May of 2020.
Yep. So right after he got out, just a little bit after he got out, that's when I met him. And I thought he was just a normal person, but comes to find out, the more you hang out with him every day, stuff started to get weird from there.
Yet you continue to hang out with him for 2 more years afterwards. Got it.
Like what weird?
Like just daily activities and daily behavior. He'd try to be a businessman, but he tried to take on more than he could. He tried to bite off more than he could chew. You know what I'm saying? So he tried to say, hey, we're going to go out here and we're going to buy this storage shed and we're going to move it all here. And then we'll resell it and we'll make good money and it'll be good for the family. You guys ready to go out and do that? And then when it came time to doing the work, you'd find just me and Sarah trying to scoop things up, and he'd be like, come on.
And there you have it. Me and Sarah, 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 me and Sarah.
Come on, guys. I can't walk around right now because my feet hurt because I'm overweight.
Wow, interesting. Yeah.
He'd make you feel bad for the guy, and then you're like, well, shit, I'll give you a hand. And then...
All right. Just wanted to turn the volume off for you guys because I know it's got to be loud. It's got to be loud. We're giving JLR a paycheck this week.
That you're just getting looped into one thing and another, and then it's just he just never stops being. He's ambitious, but he can't do that much because he's overweight. So I tried to get him skinnier, and I tried to say, hey, let's go out and get out of the house, get off the couch, quit eating chips. You're gonna die soon. You're gonna freaking die if you don't quit eating, man. You got to get some exercise, or your heart's literally gonna stop beating.
No, I feel you, dude. I feel you. I saw what he looks like or whatnot. What is his habits? Like, what does he like to do for fun?
That's a good thing you bring up there. He likes to just watch TV and eat junk food and not really do a whole lot of nothing other than talk on the phone. That's that.
Talk on the phone to who?
Whoever he can find that.
That's weird. I mean, like, if you're a teenage girl talking on the phone, like, I'm 43 now. I'm not really a phone talker. And to think that a grown man that doesn't really have a whole lot of friends, so much so that every time they pick up somebody that's down and out, they bring him home like a lost puppy, and he's on the phone. Who in the world's talking to this guy? He's supposed to be running a business. It's weird.
Listen to him.
Interesting. Did he have an iPhone or an Android?
He had one of those iPhones, like a iPhone 12, 13, 14. He always loved his little iPhone.
Do you know if he had AT&T, Verizon? What phone network did he say he had?
I think he was with Verizon when he started his new company, and then he went with those guys, and then the bill got up in excess of $15,000-$20,000.
Wow.
How in the world can you get a bill that high? I would not even know how. Like, how did they not shut his bill off like at $1,000? You can't tell me this guy had enough credit to hold a $20,000 bill. What? I've never heard that. That to me is crazy. I don't know if they misread it. Maybe it was 2,000, 1,500.
And then from there, he couldn't pay it. And he said, oh, no, what do I do? Can you help me with my bills? And I said, well, sure. Let's look at the bill. How big is it? And you look at it, and it's like $20,000, and he's just on there buying like new little phones and this and that. you know, he's always taken on more than he can handle, and that was the biggest issue.
That doesn't sound like he's taking on more than he can handle. That sounds fraudulent as hell. How do you rack up? How do two people need so many darn phones that they reach up, rack up a $20,000 bill on phones? Catfish possibly just saying, yeah, possibly.
With me and Stacey.
Hey, Justice.
Yeah. Did he ever talk about kids?
Not really. Not usually, no. That's why this strikes me as strange. The only time that happened is like once or twice during the whole 1 or 2 years that I was there. And he's like, you know, I'd like to have a kid for when I pass away, you know, because it'd make my wife happy. Just like you guys are saying on your video or whatever. That is true.
That is just odd. And, you know, Stacey being home, having that cubby in their master bedroom, you know, him looking normal when he comes home, but nothing out of the ordinary. It seems like he's giving us a lot of weird information that we never knew about. I mean, it's good information to know. We didn't know there was a cubby in a hole in their master bedroom that, say, a 5-year-old kid could be in. This is crazy.
It's confirmed. Video or whatever. That is true. It's confirmed.
So the videos that I've put out that you've seen, what is not true that you've seen that you noticed that with me covering this case, what is not true?
The only thing that like upset me or kind of got to me a little bit is the whole part about me and my Montana fence or whatever. That's Guthrie Builders, and he does a good job. He builds houses and does siding and stuff. And me and him are great friends. We have been for years. But one day he got in a bad situation where someone was trying to take his life too, and he tried to steal one of my pickups that I owned. It was like a 01 Ford or something. And then from there, me and him got mad, but then we kind of put it behind us, and we got past it a little bit. But now me and him are best friends, and we wish to build in the future and help the community out. And I just didn't want something like that coming in between it all.
Understandable. And have you watched my other videos about covering this case?
I don't know. I just seen the one that you put out today, this morning or whatever, and honestly, I think it's pretty good. You do a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm still suspect of you, but I still appreciate you speaking, and it puts more like you got nothing to hide, right?
See, JLR is being forthcoming. He still tells the guy, hey, I'm still suspect of you. But I appreciate you coming forward, and, you know, you appear to be honest, right? But there's a lot of people in the chat that just doesn't believe this guy. They think he's rump roast.
You got nothing to hide by sharing all this, because usually what the experience with people have done things, unless you're psychotic and you just are guilty and you're just acting like you're not. And there's people out there like that, like Chris Watts. You know, there's other cases that, you know, he goes right in front of the cameras and says he didn't do it, whatever. But you're willing to talk. You're willing to share your side. And,
yes, sir.
You know, people will have a different perspective about this, because there's millions of people following this case.
Holy smokes. Yeah, I can only imagine if someone would have took my kid, what it would have done to my heart. You know what I mean? Like, I have a kid of my own, and I only have one. She's 10. She's like 5 years older than him. And I got a nephew that's like the same age as him, 5 or 6. And this kid has the same birthday as me, June 24th.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just something that affects me a little bit. It affects me a lot every day, and I think about it, and I can't stop thinking about it. So it's like I need to tell who's lying and who's not. And I think that Stacey is a liar, and he just says stuff to attract attention because he wants to be the cool guy, and because he has a low self-esteem because he's a bigger guy. And, you know, I love Stacey, I love Sarah, but I'm not proud about what they've done and what they do and
what they've done.
If they are involved, they need to come forward, and if they're not,
what they've done and what they do. And then he prefaces, or then he states after the fact that if they're guilty, it almost seems like he's leading that he knows they are guilty. So I don't know.
We need to find out who really did do that, because it's not just something little.
Well said, Brandon. I appreciate the conversation. Let's talk again in the future. I'm going to share what we discussed. I'm going to share this so people can get a perspective of your thoughts and what transpired that day. Maybe people will give feedback with questions, and then I'll be able to follow up with some questions that people ask. You know, I try to think of as many questions as I can ask you, you know what I mean? But I don't know all the questions, or I might have forgot questions, and there might be key points that I missed that someone else might have, you know?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I understand.
And definitely, if you learn anything or anything, definitely go to the police about it, you know?
Yeah. Right, and I will, because, you know, and it's not just like the whole thing of where I'm trying to pay off the police or the police are paying off me. It's just like a real thing that happened that day in that neighborhood, and they want to know what happened. I want to know what happened. You want to know what happened. My whole family. And it's just like, if you guys know something you're not telling me, tell me now. Or
his whole family. Weird.
You know, we just want answers.
Yeah. Did you see the Vaughans out there looking for Michael that day he went missing? Did you see?
I think they went out there earlier, but me personally, I've never met him. Still to this day.
Yeah. All right, brother. Stay safe. Thanks for the conversation. We'll talk again soon.
Okay. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Brandon. So there you have it, everyone. Brandon Shirtliff. He shares a lot.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. JLR, for that amazing interview. You know, throw some claps up in the chat. We had, you know, up to 1,500 in here watching this. This is, you know, pretty clarifying. We learned a lot about the behaviors of Stacy and Sarah Wandra from this interview. I do believe that they were like that because they have a lot of rift-raft around them. And I still, does anybody, by a show of number ones, and I've got this on slow, so it's going to take a second. By a show of number ones, how many people find it very odd the amount of men, strange men, they take back and put in their home? I want to know that. Because that to me is really, really odd. It's not women. It's not, you know, exclusive. It seems like it's almost exclusively for men. If you're a guy down on your luck, you can come home with us. And it just, I don't understand why. Kristen says, sorry, but I feel that the whole group of them seem to have mental disability of some kind. I can agree with that. That is a fair assessment, Kristen. Between the whole group of them, they couldn't make jello, let alone commit a crime and hide it. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. These people were in and around a lot of bad people. We can agree that with the mental disability, they were probably easy prey and easy to control. So somebody with a much better mental capacity could play them and use them and toy with them. So I still don't think, you know, maybe part of that would be they couldn't hatch this up by themselves. I can agree with that. But clearly these, both Stacy and Sarah are felons. They have committed some serious crimes in the past, even prior to Michael disappearing. So they are capable of committing crimes because they had. So I agree in part with you, Kristen. I agree with you in part, but that's just my assessment. Thank you for yours. But these people, they seem like not mentally there, but boy, for not being mentally there, they do quite a lot of damage, and they have in the past. But again, it could be because they're easily manipulated. You know, they're easy prey. And we have to look at Sarah's mom, because Sarah's mom is a little bit of a whack job, and it looks like even Sarah's own mother has used her for an identity theft thing. Her and her mother were arrested around the same time for identity theft. So I would think that even her mom has used her for stuff like this. So I think that they could be manipulated, but I don't think they're immune to committing crimes because of their past record. I'm only at 10-minute mark, but so far he sounds truthful, like nothing to hide. Yeah, I got that, Tara. That's what I know. When you get up to this point, you will also hear this. But yeah, I agree with you. He seemed truthful in part, even though a lot of the stuff he was saying were contradicted himself several times throughout this interview. And there is a reason for that. I'm not sure what that reason is. Is it to throw us off? Is it just because that's the way things are processing in his brain to his recollection? Because he is speaking so matter of fact. Maybe he this stuff happened, let's say, over a year and a half ago. So he, could that be just because of the time aspect of it? It's very plausible. Just the amount of time from the time he gave this interview with JLR and the events that took place were, there's been some considerable amount of time that has gone. Let's see. Thank you, JLR. I don't care what anybody says about you. Your heart for summer. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, LaBomba. I'm sure he will appreciate that. Yeah, it kind of gives a creep factor. I have to believe that. It's just odd to me. It's really, really, really odd about this whole. How, like, Dolly Vision, he's always talking about, quit being a weirdo. Like, that's how I'm feeling right now. Like, this is weird. Like, weirdo weird. It's very weird, especially when you're married. Just let different people in your house, let alone a man, I should say. Very odd. And not only that, but leaving with them, being alone with them, driving with them, it just, yeah. It's almost like, why did she marry Stacy? Obviously, Stacy is this overweight guy, doesn't take care of himself, is a slob. She doesn't seem very happy. Why? I guess she is divorcing him, but why marry him in the first place? What was the attraction? Yeah, it's just weird. Like, we've let family not stay here. When I was alone, and not this house, but my first house, I rented the rooms out in. It was just me there, and I was young. I was 20-something, so I rented the rooms out to pay the mortgage. And I'm not lying when I say that, no funny business went on. Let's see what else we got. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just put the link up. I just found that interest. Oh, I just stopped sharing my screen. I didn't mean to do that. I hit the wrong button. Back to jail. There we go. Let me bring this up just in case I need it. I need to have it handy. There we go. Okay, Stacy is rump. Most of these guys were right. So still, it just seemed like they always targeted the down and out. I don't know. I just find it wholly weird. I really just find it wholly weird. Either way, it does have some weird hallmarks. We're all kind of feeling that there's something not right with that. I don't want to make a stretch, but it just doesn't. Something doesn't feel right with this. I don't know what it is, but something just doesn't feel right. So here's the. We're going to go ahead and pull this up for a little bit. We've already been on here for 2 hours. So we really only have about 15 minutes that I can designate because I've got another live. I may actually push my next live back to 7 instead of 6, guys. Or maybe I'll do. Yeah, maybe I'll do. I'll put it back to 6. We'll see where we are in just a few minutes. But if anybody wants to come up here, there's the link to StreamYard. Let me go over here and see if I can pin it to the top. Give me just a second. It's taking a minute. And what I'll do. Wow, that's a lot. There we are. Hold on, I can't see you. Let me pin that up to the top. There we go. Okay. Hello, dear. Hold on, let me get you back over here. There we go. Hello, dear.
Hello.
So what are your thoughts on everything?
I'm the one who wrote that comment.
Oh, that's right. I agree with you in part.
Okay, what I meant by that was like this guy was kind of making it leaning toward, oh, Stacy did it. We don't know what happened. We weren't there. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Stacy could have done this alone. I don't think any one of them singularly could have done this alone. And that's kind of how he was making it to me sound.
Yeah, like he's all alone, but he's this fat guy that can't move, can't walk, can't do anything for himself, but he's going to be chucking down the road and grabbing a 5-year-old kid.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think any one of them singularly could have done it. And that's kind of how he made it sound. Oh, Sarah and I were out doing whatever, and he was there by himself. And, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think Stacy alone or him alone or Sarah alone could have done this. It would have had to have been some kind of a.
Yeah, I think you're right. Probably a group thing. Thing. Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much, Kristen, for your insight, and God bless you.
God bless you, Betty. I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
All right, Mindy, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up. Give me just a sec. I'm going to pop you on and pop you off. Okay, there we go. All right, Mindy.
Hello.
Hello, love. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I was working. I do Lyft and Uber, so I was working through most of the live. I was watching it in between some rides, but I did watch in between your lives. I watched the interview that JLR did, and I just get this feeling about Michael, like he's not being all the way honest about things. I didn't see what everybody else's perspective
I think everybody was kind of the same. I'm kind of giving this guy the
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt, saying, hey, at least he came forward. He sounds, mostly truthful about certain aspects of this. He's still suspect in my mind because he's still in and around these people at the time that this child disappeared. And there appears to be multiple people, and it's just, and the whole story just smells to high heaven.
Yeah, you were breaking up. I'm gonna probably have to watch the replay.
Yeah, it's a good interview. It's a good interview. I'm very happy that JLR got this.
I'm in the car, so I can't. You're breaking up pretty bad.
Yeah, I think it's your reception.
Put my 2 cents in.
Yeah. Well, God bless you, and thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Bye-bye. Mama Bullhorn, what's shaking bacon?
Hey, baby, I'm home.
Yay! How was your Thanksgiving?
Eventful, busy. This, for some reason, I have that 6th, 7th sense.
Mm-hmm.
This guy made me sick at the stomach. I got that. I am so sick at my stomach right now because this guy, he's hiding. He was totally deceptive, and his beard was the beer.
Yeah.
He was using the beer as his anchor. He was anchoring himself with the hot tub and the beer.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. What do you think? Pushed you? Do you think that based upon what you heard, the vibe that you got? I know this is pure speculation, but in your gut, do you believe he knows more than what he's saying?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, he says he's hiding out because he's got charges back in Idaho. Okay, if those charges are bad enough and they begin to think of him as a suspect, nothing's going to hide him as long as he keeps using his freaking cell phone. They'll find him. And I got a feeling after today, they're going to be looking for him.
Yeah.
Very hard. They're going to try to find him. And they'll probably expedite him back to Idaho because he has evidence that he's hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And I said from the very first that, I forget who it was they interviewed that said the house, I think it was one of Jonathan's people, said that house has a basement.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it.
Well, no, it doesn't. They
And
said
it
there
has
was
a
no
crawl
basement.
space.
There was a crawl space. They said no basement, just a crawl space.
I said from the very beginning, they probably dug up or dug under the driveway because we know a very famous driveway murder right here in Tampa. And they probably buried him under the house. They're digging in the wrong place.
Well, I heard they went into the house and they got jackhammers in there, but that was just rumored. I couldn't corroborate that, but let me keep going because I've got an appointment and I got one more person behind. In the back.
I know, but the point is, they had a jackhammer in the house. They found a jackhammer in the house. So that's all I got to say. It's just it turned my stomach because I just got the feeling he was soaking up the notoriety and making himself a target. That's exactly what he did. He put a big target on his chest today. All right.
Well,
I love you.
Take care. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back safe.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Oscar, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up. Just give me a second so I can put this on there. How are you?
Hey, Miss Betty, how you doing?
Doing well.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to call in and say thank you for all y'all do, keeping us updated on everything and all the hard work y'all put in. It's really awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you have any thoughts on Michael Vaughan's case?
I haven't been following it a whole lot, but I just watched the interview with that guy, and that's just weird, man. He just seems like a weirdo to me, and just
How would you feel about picking up strangers and bringing them home with you?
Yeah, for real. That whole thing with them just having random strangers, it sounds like there's something else going on there. Maybe they're swinging or something. I don't know.
Something weird. Something ain't right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but that's just some weird stuff to me.
Yeah, for sure. But I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to tell you thank you. You guys are awesome, and I love watching your show.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right, God bless you too. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Oh, that was a great way to end the show. So, guys, come back. I may be pushing it back. I just forgot I have an appointment for some program work done to this computer. And so at the end of the day, I will be back with you guys. I don't know if we're going to be pushing the 6 o'clock back to 7 o'clock or not, but just bear with me. That time may change. It may go off on time. We'll see. We'll see where we are. I've got some programs that need to be put on the computer for safety reasons. So at the end of the day, we will talk to you guys later. God bless each and every one of you. Guys, don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We're seeing what a pound of cure looks like for the Vaughn family. So, we want to uplift and keep Michael Monkey Vaughn and his family in our prayers. If you feel like donating to their family right now, it's coming up to Christmas. It is all in the description on how you can help Michael Vaughn's family through this holiday season. With that, each and every one of you guys, God bless you. It's not the last show. So if you guys didn't catch show 1 and you didn't catch show 2, you still have show 3. So we'll see you soon.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.